Welcome to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Let's get into this. So, I know that I have haven't been on here a while, so I want to give my loyal subscribers something to hang on. I know that we do this for you, so here we go. Obviously, right now, pro days are taking place. Caleb Williams happened yesterday. Had a very good pro day. Obviously, going to be the number one pick. Did not waver last night with his throws. Had a pretty phenomenal workout. And then the 80-yard bomb they threw. Interviewing pretty well. His game tape shows. I mean, he is going to be the number one pick, no doubt about it in my mind. But this brings me to the New York Giants, who were there. You need to find a way to get your quarterback, period. I know there's a debate going on. Giants need a receiver. Giants need, O-line. Giants need this. Look, we ran out on the field Richie James, Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, and we were able to move the football, right? Not saying I want to do that, but what I'm saying is that the Giants don't have to get a receiver at 6. They need to find a way to get their quarterback at 6 or 4 or 3 or 2 or whatever they need to do to get it. There are about 5 to 6 quarterbacks in this draft that are draftable on day 1 or 2. Find that guy. If that means you go receiver in round 1, well, then you better find Bo Nix, Penix, Spencer Rattler in the second. Because I will not accept this team going into next season with Tommy DeVito, Daniel Jones, and Drew Lock. First off, Daniel Jones shouldn't even be on the team, shouldn't see the field. I know a lot of people are seeing him at concerts and his personality. The guy stinks. He's a liability, not only with his injuries, but the defenses now know him. There's a scouting report out on him. He doesn't do anything particularly over the top that you're like, oh my God, he's a game changer. Like, I know they say his best attributes are his legs, but if you were to put his legs up against Lamar Jackson's legs, Lamar Jackson has game-changing legs. And like Caleb Williams said, he hates running. And that's what I want my quarterback to do. I want my quarterback to hate running. I wonder, because that's how you win games. You win games by doing what Russell Wilson did, Patrick Mahomes ad-libbing, buying yourself some time. Tony Romo had a propensity to do this. He would buy himself time so he would be able to get the ball downfield. And a lot of these guys can do that. And if it's true, the Giants like J.J. McCarthy, and I just heard a rumor right now that Arizona is willing to trade up. I don't think they're going to go that far down, but they're willing to open for business. Well, guess what, baby? Joe Schoen, you should be on that call. You should be on that call right now to get your guy. And you get him and you say, fuck it. You just say, screw it. Pardon me. Screw it. And you don't worry about what we say, what the media says. If this guy comes out and is a winner, nobody's going to care. And I'll tell you this right now. A lot of people are like, oh, the Giants are going to be... If the Giants go into this season, let's hypothetically speaking, they punt on the quarterback. They get like Joe Milton. Now Joe Milton has a lot of attributes that you might like, or Devin Leary. Doesn't mean those guys won't be good. And somebody said it before, like, well, why don't you take Spencer Rattler? Why am I getting trolled if you think Brian Dable can do it? Why are you going to get Spencer Rattler? Because the thing is this: when you're shopping for groceries, do you want the produce on the bottom, or do you want the produce at the top? That's what I'm saying. You're getting the fresh produce at the top, so try to get the ones at the top. I'm not saying the produce at the bottom is not going to be good. It's just you're going to have to search for it. There's a lot more things to do, and if you're the first one there or you're close to being it, you want to get that. And I look at it like this: the quarterback position is the most important position in football, and here are the reasons why. 1, you touch the ball more than anybody on there. You conduct the offense, meaning the play is called, and now you're the one out there making the checks, so your offensive line knows where to go and what to do. You also are the one that threatens the defense. You can have Rome Odunze, Marvin Harrison Jr., and all that, and not do nothing. Look at Garrett Wilson over the Jets. Prime example. When that quarterback went down, basically he went down. He had to scrape and claw and fight for every yard and barely eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark. And that guy was a top 10 pick, arguably the best receiver in that draft. And he's struggling because obviously why? And I'm not saying that those people who want quarterbacks, receivers are wrong. No, the Giants have a receiver problem. But if you check this out, peep this. There's about 15 guys that are first-round grade receivers. 15. There are about 6 quarterbacks that are first-round or first-day grades. I don't know about you, but if I have a surplus of something and a limited supply of something else, I want the limited supplies while supplies last. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy that has to get the knockoff quarterback like we did last time. And I know a lot of people are so enamored with this word reach. Oh, he's a reach. He's a reach. None of these quarterbacks that are in the top five, that are top five quarterbacks, are reaches because all of them are being mocked in the first round. That's the difference. A reach is like, hey, let me take a Spencer Rattler at 6. Now, again, if that's a guy that they like, that's fine. But that would be considered a reach. Or taking Malachi Corley, taking him at 6. That's a reach. When his projection is not there. The quarterbacks are not a reach because the value is so much higher than where they're projected. So J.J. McCarthy, with a guy who apparently the Giants like, and I think there's some smoke to that love, and there's a reason why they want to leak out the dinner to them. And he's flying up draft boards. I guarantee at his pro day, if he runs a 40, which it doesn't really matter, but if he runs a 40 and looks good, it's over. And I think Michael Penix is going to move up draft boards too. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants have a plan for Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., these guys later on in the round. Look, the Giants have nothing at the quarterback position. I would rather run out there with Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, and maybe another draft pick, and a decent tight end with Drew Lock. I don't want to see Daniel Jones anymore. Let's talk about the Drew Lock thing before. The draft is all good. Go get your quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, Drake May, whomever it may be. It needs to be one of the names that we talk about, whether that's Spencer Rattler, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, whomever. They need to be one of those guys. What I don't want to hear is, we drafted Michael Pratt. No, Michael Pratt has some traits that we like. He's been in some big games. He's performed in those big games. He's played at Tulane. He's done some things. But that shouldn't be your plan. Now, if you punt on the quarterback or you trade down and that's your guy that you're trying to identify, I don't mind. We get up in arms a lot about guys that they don't identify. Well, we want guys to come in here and perform. But anybody that comes in here, we need. If there's a third-round pick quarterback in here, I'm rooting for that kid, and I'm rooting for him over Daniel because I'm tired of seeing Daniel Jones. Okay? So if you're going to draft a guy in the second round, or later rounds, he better have better traits than Daniel, and he better be willing to learn and a fast learner and picks up things quickly. Because if he fails, Brian Dable and Joe Shane fail, and guess what? They're not going to be here, and the next quarterback, the next coach that comes in is not going to sit there and say, yes, John, I'm going to sit here with Daniel Jones in the next 2 years and watch my legacy go down the drain. No. And for all those people that want to wait for Arch Manning or all these other, do you realize that's 2 seasons away? The Giants could be 8-8 next year and out of the playoff. And then in 2025, maybe they make the playoffs again. And then now what are you doing? You're moving to heaven and earth. You can't decide to do it like that. And you can trade a guy away, but how many good quarterbacks are being traded away? You're gonna have to give up assets either way. At that point, you might as well go for a veteran that's aging to come into your team. But you're still gonna need a quarterback down the road as that veteran goes down. But let's talk about a few things. One, this Drew Lock nonsense. It's nonsense to me. The guy obviously is coming here to compete for the starting job. There's no way you would leave Seattle if Seattle's a good spot for you to then go to the Giants in a lateral move. And somebody brought that up. I think it was Michael Lombardi who mentioned it. And it opened my eyes yeah, man, why would I go to be a backup to Daniel Jones at a job? And they're like, well, they told Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson he went to Pittsburgh. And now he's still not guaranteed a job. He's still going to be a mentorship. He would have been doing the same thing here. But he wasn't guaranteed the affirmative of starting. And that's probably because they told him they're probably going to draft a quarterback as well. So his days are numbered, right? And he doesn't want to do that. And he probably likes Mike Tomlin as a coach. Pittsburgh offers him a chance to win and a chance to better himself. If you look at what he can do, if he gets the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs, his price tag is going to go up next year. If he wins 8 games with the Giants that don't make the playoffs, they're going to be like, oh, well, it's Russell Wilson, right? So either way, the Giants need a quarterback, but Drew Lock, I think is going to be. I want to say is going to be number 1, right? He's going to take the job from Daniel because one, he does things differently than Daniel, which is interesting to think. Tyrod Taylor came in last year, and we said it. We always say it. When you get a backup quarterback, you want a guy who's going to be similar skill set to it. It doesn't have to be the same, but similar skill set to what you do. Who can run the RPOs and do all this. Drew Lock doesn't really have that propensity to run. He's more of a thrower. Right now he can scramble. He ran a 4.68 at the combine. He did some things where you're like, okay, you're not bad. You're not terrible. But that to me they're 2 different players. And what it's showing me is that they're going to try to go downfield more and score points. And Drew Lock does that for you. If you watch the game against the Eagles, that's what he did. If you watch the game against the 49ers, that's what he did. He threw the ball downfield. They moved it downfield. Is he the greatest quarterback ever? No. Is he a good quarterback? Probably not. Is he better than Daniel Jones? Who knows? But I've seen all I can see out of Daniel to know that he's not good. I haven't seen that with Drew Lock because he's been injured. He hasn't had the opportunity. One time he did start, he wasn't, terrible. I mean, he had 16 touchdowns. We praised Daniel Jones for having fucking 15 touchdowns. This guy has 16, and we're like, oh, he stinks. Like, give me a break. So how are we gonna justify that? So I rather see Drew Lock. I think he's gonna come in here and take the job. If they don't bring in a quarterback, I think it's his job to lose right now. He's quarterback 1 right now in OTAs. I'm sorry. If Daniel can't go, and he's quarterback 1, and you're already anointing him quarterback 1 without even being in the building over Tommy DeVito, guess what? Tommy DeVito's days are numbered. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants pick up another quarterback in the undrafted free agent realm. Like if a guy like Devin Leary somehow doesn't get drafted, don't be surprised if he lands on the practice squad and beats out Tommy DeVito, because that guy's got some high upside potential. But, things happen when you go to NC State and in Kentucky and things like that. But at the combine, I think he acquitted himself well. And he's a guy that in the late rounds of the Giants you want to take a late round flyer on a guy, that's the guy I would take. Now, there's going to be many things happening from now until draft day. They could trade, they could do this, they could do that. I think the Giants need to come away with their franchise quarterback in this draft. Don't worry about next year's draft. Don't try to worry about next year's draft. I know people are arguing, well, next year's draft. Like, dude, we're in this year's draft. And this year's draft has good quarterbacks. We don't know what's going to happen in the college season. For all we know, Riley Leonard could blow out his knee. Quinn Ewers could fall on his face. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cam Ward could be nothing in Miami, or want to stay longer because he has another year of eligibility. Like, if you look at the top, a couple of the top prospects, Bo Nix went there 5 years. The kid from Ole Miss is going to be there. He's going to break Bo Nix's college game record. I mean, like, we're talking about longevity quarterbacks now. So we could sit here and say that this quarterback class is good next year or whatever it is, but we have to wait till next year to find out where they go, right? Same thing. You remember how we talked about Sam Howell? Oh, well, guess what? Sam Howell came out the next year and was nothing. So we can't project nothing. You're in this draft right now. We know this is a historically good class for quarterbacks. Go get one. Drew Lock, I'm behind you. This has been another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host, Adam. Just want to get some content out for you guys. Keep the channel going and just enjoy the next 5.5 weeks till the draft. There's going to be a lot of speculation. Try not to let it stress you out. I don't care what the Giants do in the draft, honestly, as long as they come away with one of those 5 or 6, 7 quarterbacks that we talk about on a daily basis. You come away with one of those things, Joe Shane, I will say, you know what, you're heading in the right direction. If you don't and you punt and you go with those 3 idiots of quarterback, those three stooges at quarterback, well then you're not the man for this job, and we'll see you in Buffalo when you get fired. Have a good one.